everybody, and that's not the case. There were tens of thousands of German officers who spoke out or rose up against Hitler. And a lot of them were Nazis. A lot of them were anti-Semitic and had been pro-Hitler. But in the last 2 years of the war, Germany had been bombed into oblivion. Millions of German soldiers were dead. A lot of their families were dead. And they said, this guy's going to destroy Germany. Now, a lot of them had fought against him early on because they had seen what was coming from 100 miles away. And pastors and so many others. But, you know, were they traitors? Were the German officers that tried to get rid of Hitler? I mean, were they traitors? See, the government of Germany wasn't Hitler, though he made it to be the government. The government was the people under their republic. But they lost their Weimar Republic. They lost it to corruption and apathy and to depression. You know, depressions most of the time lead to a worse form of tyranny than what was there beforehand. That's why the globalists are putting us into this depression, and then they're going to offer their solutions, Bernanke and others are, which is more control for them. Here it is today, Obama poised to sign sweeping financial overhaul. But since you mentioned the fact that the folks on the internet spend more time attacking Alex Jones than they do attacking the government and criticizing it. They spend, I mean, large portions of people. It's one of the biggest memes on the internet, and it's actually helped me. I guess God, you know, says no weapon formed against us will prosper, and I didn't understand this, 15 years ago. I understand it now. But they attack me for a lot of reasons. I mean, really, it's a perfect storm. But I would say 95% of it is not government produced. But if you have a plastic explosive, say 100 pounds of it, and you stick a tiny trigger cap in it that runs to the electrical timer, it is a tiny electrical charge that causes that 100 pounds of plastic explosives that, can destroy much of a city block. It is a tiny blasting cap that ignites that. And so the government is on record. And this is what Cass Sunstein, this is what got released a year ago. He'd written it 2 years ago, advising Harvard and Chicago Business School. He's now in the White House regulations are. We've written articles about it, but it's also even been in the mainstream news. That he said, we need to go out and pose as conspiracy theorists. And he defines that as anybody that criticizes the government. That's a mind control term itself. Oh, you don't trust the government. You don't trust BP. You don't trust powerful people. Our founding fathers said don't trust the system. Keep the government small. Have separation of powers, or you will get tyranny. But they call what Thomas Jefferson said basically a conspiracy theory. It's a stereotype, a one-liner, something they just throw out to not have a debate with you, to try to minimize you. But Sunstein says this isn't working anymore. He said, we've got to go out and cause infighting with these groups. We've got to go out and attack their effective leaders, discrediting them. Well, what happened with COINTELPRO in the 60s with the anti-war movement? They'd send people in to get everybody infighting with each other. And so it's a very small government trigger. And then you've got the troll society, the troll culture online. It's a coward culture. And they've done corporate studies about even employees will send threatening emails to their bosses or vice versa. But they won't say it in person, but in email, people tend to really say what they think. It's kind of like a drunk man, tells no lies. And so these people just go wild, and then it's a radicalization process of competing with each other to, bring up more and more crazy things. And so instead of the conspiracy culture being about government documents and opposing the foreign banks, those are big targets that people don't feel like they're worthy to resist. But it's easy to look at Alex Jones and say, well, that guy's had some success. That must be a fraud. Look what these people are saying about themselves. They're saying they have no respect in themselves. They're saying they can't believe there's somebody real out there resisting. Well, I mean, look how many people we've woke up. Look at how we're the driving engine of the global awakening. I mean, there's a lot of factors there, but we're the biggest. Of hundreds of factors, we're the biggest. There's a lot of fish in the pond of resistance, but we're the biggest. And so I always admired people that could do things better than I could, or who were eloquent, or who were beautiful. I never have really had a lot of envy or jealousy, and I didn't really realize that most people, a lot of people, are driven by that, and most losers are. They feel sorry for themselves. And so the kind of conspiracy theory culture, it attracts good patriots, researchers, people that understand what's happening, people who can see over the horizon historically, people who have a sixth and a seventh or an eighth sense, as some would say. But it also attracts people who are just angry and who want to blame somebody for something. And so there's a lot of jealousy. You know, they have a simple term for it. It's called haters. And I almost cringe when a Willie Nelson or a Charlie Sheen calls me now and wants to come on the show, or Jesse Ventura tells me, hey, I want to come on and go public for 9/11 Truth 2.5 years ago. Because then I thought that would wake people up because they care about celebrity. Now I realize it just makes them get more jealous. So I've been contacted by a lot of big celebrities lately, and I haven't even asked them to come on. I've just because I realize we need to build the archetype up of the individual, the auto mechanic, the police officer, the school teacher, the artist, the little man standing up, because that really is where the power is. And I learn more and more about human traits and the way people behave. And I realize that a lot of people also, just at a subconscious level, they envy my courage. They envy my intellect. They envy my will. They envy my success and the fact that I work harder than anybody else. I mean, God gave me a lot of great gifts, and they all work together for the glory of God's creation and for God. And so I'm committed. But yeah, stay focused on issues.
We all know that the Berkey water purification systems are the most trusted name in water filtration. As an authorized Berkey dealer for over 4 years and serving thousands of satisfied customers, the Berkey Guy offers amazing specials for Berkey water systems. The revolutionary Berkey light systems include a set of self-sterilizing and re-cleanable black purification elements that purify water by removing chlorine, pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels, and removes harmful chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides. Order the Berkey light system today, complete with 2 black Berkey elements for only $209, and the Berkey Guy will include 3 Sport Berkey water bottles and ship everything to you free of charge. That's right, 3 Sport Berkey water bottles and free shipping, an $87 value, yours free, but only for a limited time. Just call the Berkey Guy at 1-877-886-3653 now to order. That's 1-877-886-3653, or order online now at GoBerkey.com. That's GoBerkey.com today.
The question is, where should the American people draw their line in the sand?
What have we got? A republic or a monarchy?
A republic is based on a constitution which protects minority rights.
Not democracy, not mob rule, 2 wolves and a sheep voting on what's for dinner.
So they think they own our land, they think they own our water, children, our education, our money.
We have to define who we are and what we will tolerate.
Somebody's going to ask you what you did during the Patriot Uprising.
You have been warned.
We have the facts. We have the Constitution. We have the Bill of Rights. We have common law. Knowledge is power, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm so excited to be able to offer you Don't Tread on Me, Rise of the Republic. Tyranny is upon us, but liberty and the sleeping giant that is the American people is rising. A new tool in the info war. Don't Tread on Me. Order it at Infowars.com or PrisonPlanet.com, or call toll-free 888-253-3139 and support independent, patriotic Liberty films.
Global meltdowns, massive unemployment, endless wars, a new currency crisis, financially and morally bankrupt. A great and terrible storm is approaching. So what's the best way to get ready? To get prepared for hard times ahead? Introducing Off the Grid News, a weekly newsletter for independent patriots who want practical advice on how to survive and prosper in an increasingly dangerous world. It's the best way to get a black belt in emergency preparedness, survival skills, and off-the-grid living. Off the Grid News is fiercely independent, all about self-reliance, and packed with helpful information on survival gardening, food preparation, alternative energy, herbal medicines, privacy and security, as well as God, gold, and guns, with absolutely no apologies. And the best part? This $100 a year service is now free of charge for our listeners. That's right, free for our listeners who sign up at offthegridnews.com. That's offthegridnews.com. You can sign up for free at offthegridnews.com. Offthegridnews.com.
One other reason it's so popular to attack this radio show by the mainstream media, the government, corporations, is because, if one head tries to pop up above the others, it's fun to try to knock it back down. You ever gone fishing for crabs? Must have been 15 years ago, an old patriot, said, well, you know why there's so much infighting. You know why, the system is promoting infighting and pushing it to keep us all down. It's a form of divide and conquer. But more than that, you ever gone crab fishing? And throw out a piece of bacon or whatever. The crab's greedy. You drag him in, you scoop him up with a shovel, you throw him in a bucket. And if the crabs work together,